Welcome to part 2 of our presentation on community-based crowdfunding and how it can work for you. My name is Rob Hall of the Hall Street Journal, and I'll be your presenter. Our mantra is simple: you give before you get. Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich, said, "It is literally true that you can succeed best and quickest by helping others to succeed." And our donation distribution formula is based on this principle. There's more than one way to join our community as far as initial donations are concerned. You can start with $50 or even nothing. But if you can afford it, a $200 donation is a great way to join. Remember that the more you give, the more you open the door to receive. And while we're on the subject, let me ask a question. If your referrer gets 100% of the $200 donation that you make to his or her campaign, is there anything left over for anyone else to get? The answer is no. And that's one way to tell that this is not just some pyramid. It's an intentional community of crowdfunding recipients and donors who are supporting one another's dreams. We're excited because our donation distribution formula works, and I'm going to quickly show you why. But please note, community crowdfunding is referral based, and the following example is not typical. It's hypothetical. In the real world, it will never happen in this manner. Some project managers will refer 5, some 2, some 1, some none. Some will refer many more projects for funding. So each situation is unique. But remember, if you join our community, your total financial exposure is only the initial donation you make to your referrer's project, which is non-refundable and a completely personal choice. So here's an example. When you donate, you contribute $200 to your referrer's cause, which might be buying a van to transport a son with a disability. You have given and now qualify to receive at that same level. So you do a little work by talking to a number of good friends who need help raising money or assistance in crowdfunding their projects. Let's say you speak to 10 people and only 5 decide to join. 5 people contribute $200 each to your crowdfunding project, and so your campaign immediately receives $1,000. But instead of keeping all of the money, in the spirit of the community, you decide to share just $320 of your donations to other causes within the community. To whom much is given, much is required. So let's say you give $160 to a guy who's trying to fund a summer youth program, $80 to someone struggling to cover medical bills, and another $80 to a single mother who wants to fund her daughter's college tuition. That's $320 in total new donations, and it qualifies you to receive at a second level. If each person you referred refers another 5, then you would then qualify to receive half of the $320 second level contribution from 25 people. That's $160 times 25, or $4,000. And all because you were generous to others. By now you're seeing a pattern. If instead of keeping $4,000, you decide to take just $640 and pay it forward into other projects again, you keep the balance for your campaign, but open the door to receive from yet a third level, $320 each in donations from 125 people, which equals a number that you might want to multiply for yourself. But you're just beginning. This formula continues for 4 more levels. And what would happen if you personally referred 5 more people? It's powerful. Powerful enough to contribute to a man's church and change his life all at the same time. Let me tell you a true story about a man from Chicago named Hector. He lost his job. The bills were such a burden that he and his wife and kids lost their home and were forced to move into his mother-in-law's basement. But Hector found out that his church was raising money through a community crowdfunding platform, and that all he had to do was make a contribution to the church and follow the directions of the crowdfunding community. By doing this, within 4 months, Hector had raised enough money not only to move out of his mother-in-law's basement, but also to make a sizable down payment on a 4-bedroom house that he lives in today with his family. That's the power of our program. Not only did Hector help the church community directly helped Hector. One last crowdfunding story that I simply have to share. Most of you are familiar with the fact that the Statue of Liberty was given to America as a gift from France. But what's lesser known is that although the French gave us the statue, they didn't give us anything to put it on. As the statue floated across the Atlantic, the U.S. had been unable to raise $250,000 for the granite base that the statue would rest on. That's around $6.3 million at today's prices, by the way. The group tasked with raising the money had fallen short by more than a third. New York Governor Grover Cleveland would not allow the use of city funds to pay for it. And as usual, Congress could not agree on a funding package. Amid the uncertainty, Baltimore, Boston, San Francisco, and Philadelphia all offered to pay the money for the pedestal, but in return for relocating the statue. It seemed as though New York had run out of options until renowned publisher Joseph Pulitzer decided to launch a fundraising campaign in his newspaper, The New York World. The campaign eventually raised money from more than 160,000 donors, including young children, businessmen, and street cleaners, with most of the donations amounting to about 80 cents. It was a triumphant rescue. In just 5 months, the world raised over $101,000 to complete the pedestal, and they had enough money left to buy a gift for the sculptor. That crowdfunded granite pedestal is the same pedestal that lovely Lady Liberty rests upon today. There are so many of us living lives that feel like burden and bondage to things that we really don't want to do. How ironic is it that Freedom's beacon shines in New York Harbor, standing upon the foundation supplied by crowdfunding? This is your opportunity to finally see that light. So now you know that crowdfunding is real and it works. If you have a campaign that needs funding, then why not do it? And if you're going to do it, then why do it alone? Make a one-time donation to the worthy cause of a person you know. That selfless act, along with your commitment, desire, and personal efforts to share this crowdfunding platform with others, can transform their lives and finally make your crowdfunding dream a reality. If that's a possibility you'd like to explore, then contact the person who referred you and get on board. We're already in multiple countries all over the world with tens of thousands of project managers, and we're growing every day. See how many people online are already benefiting from this explosive growth. And remember that it's just beginning. It's time to share your project with the world and let our community work for you. If you don't have a referrer or just stumbled upon this presentation on the net, then go to crowdfundmenow.org and we'll get you started. Thanks for listening, and remember that together we can do great things.